But if there's one thing that I know from watching 1,000 cooking shows is that risotto always takes people out. Hi people, welcome back. If it's your first time, my name is Talia Adiwali. This is DISBYDEM. Today we're doing episodes, I think it's 5 to 7 or 5 to 8. I can't remember. Honestly, I barely pay attention, if I'm being honest. Yeah, 5 to 7, I think, of Culinary Class Wars. Sure to do all the right things, like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Shout out to everybody who showed love on the other video. I did not expect it, if I'm being honest. I put it out, because I just loved the show and I just wanted to talk about it. And you guys really showed up and you showed out. Thank you so much. So let's just get into it because a lot went on in this 3 or 4 episodes. One thing that I forgot to mention in my last video was like the judging style that they used when it became the white chefs versus the black chefs. And the judges were blindfolded. They did not watch the cooking process. They did not watch the presentation. All they did was taste. So they went just by tongue and smell. And honestly, I like that. I thought that was an even playing field. It was so even. It's something that I wish that they had done in, there was this cooking competition that they did on Netflix, but this was in America. Something about chefs. I have a review on it. I'll put something up. And for the final judging, they should have done that, but they didn't. And I think that's what swayed the winner. I liked who won. I love Bobby, but personally, I think the other guy should have won. Mike was not my favorite, but for technique, he delivered. And if you know what I'm talking about, let me know in the comment section if you watched that. And if you haven't, go. I kind of spoiled it already. Yeah, I kind of spoiled it. I'm sorry. Let me know if you watched it though, and if you agree that they should have done a blind judging for the final challenge in that one. Anywho, some of our favorite chefs, mine definitely, went through for the black chefs, and I was so happy when Chef Maniac went through. I was like, yes, my job is done here. They did end episode 4 with Che Hyun-suk, number 1 celebrity chef, versus 123 chef who had worked under Sung-jae, one of the judges, triple star judge, Michelin star judge, and it was 1-1. Celebrity chef, the white chef, won that round. And I was a little sad because I wanted 123 chef to go through. I felt like he had the skills. And if I'm being honest, they look like the same person 10 years or 20 years apart. Let's say 10. 15 if you're being cautious. It really did look like 123 chef had done a jumper situation and was facing himself in the past or something like that, or in the future. That's what it looked like to me. So in another few years, I do feel like 123 chef would most likely surpass Hyun-suk, but he just wasn't there today. Matfia took on Fabri. I love Fabri. I really did I wanted the white spoon chef to win in this situation. I love Fabri. Nothing against Matfia. I just like Fabri. His attitude, his personality. He's always happy, always bubbly. I mean, a lot can be said on the back end for people who are always happy and always bubbly. But I like it. He brings the positivity. He's always smiling. He's always jovial. You look at him and you want to smile every single time. So I love that energy on the show. But Matfia chef won and moved on. Triple star defeated his white chef. I don't even remember who he went up against. No, it wasn't. I don't remember who Triple Star went up against, but he won. I love that because I think Triple Star is talented. And then Self-Made Chef went up against Lu Xinglai. And I was like, oh, was it Self-Made Chef that went up against Lu Xinglai? I think it was. I do think it was, yeah. I was rooting for Self-Made Chef on that one, but I love Lu Xinglai because the way he supported the goddess of Chinese cuisine, who was his student, he just had this fatherly instinct, and there was nothing malicious about how he was taking on, the whole competition. He came, he said, I was going to do my thing. I just loved Lu Xinglai's attitude, and I appreciated him on the show. But I was extremely, extremely excited when Self-Made Chef won. So those were some of my favorites. I'm pretty sure some more will come up as I go on with the review. Hidden Genius also made it through. I was very happy about that because I thought that he was also mad talented and deserved to be moved forward. So by the time they had their 20 chefs, there was this thing that the judges were given. Each had the opportunity to bring back a black chef. I don't know if they specified that it was black or white, but it makes sense that they would bring back a black spoon chef because they are the underdogs. They are the ones who are trying to prove themselves already. So they chose one each. One of them chose the goddess of Chinese cuisine. I was elated. And the second one chose the comic book chef. The comic book chef had lost to his person, yes. So the other one chose the comic book chef because he said for somebody to learn those skills from a comic book, it was absolutely impressive. It was the Michelin star judge, Sung-jae, that chose the comic book chef to come back. I was excited. So in the end, we had 22, 11 black spoons, 11 white spoons. Now, moving on to the next round, it was going to be a group challenge. So what it was is they'll be divided into two teams. Each spoon, each colored chef will be divided into two teams, and it will be the meat versus the seafood. So meat versus meat, seafood versus seafood. So I think it boiled down to there were 6 people on the white side and then 5 people on the black side for the seafood challenge. And I think it was about the same as well for the yes, it was about the same. It was 6-5 again, I think, on the seafood side. Now, this was when you say I actually delved into pidgin English. In Nigeria, there's a saying that say Kasala. This is where Kasala don't burst. You know, when yawa don't gas. This was where the shit hit the literal fan because they appointed leaders for each team. So there were 2 groups, obviously 2 groups in the white spoon chef, 1 meat, 1 seafood. 2 groups in the black spoon chef, 1 meat, 1 seafood. Each group had a team leader for the seafood challenge. On the white spoon chef, Hyung-suk, #1 celebrity chef, was a team leader. On the black spoon chefs, Chef Spark, who I did not feel should have been moved forward at all, but he beat the white spoon chef he went up against. It is what it is. He won fair and square. He was the leader for the black spoon chefs. The precision, I'm starting with the seafood just because of how everything went down. The precision the precision and the execution in which the white spoon chefs showed during this challenge, it has to be studied and executed because everybody on the white spoon chef is a renowned chef. They have their own teams, but the way they said, you are the leader, we will follow what you do. Even when Edward Lee was on was on the seafood for the white team, even when he was trying to challenge, the structure, the taste, and everything, the combination of the menu, he said, you are the chef, I will do what you tell me to do. And eventually fell into step with everybody else and executed like no man's business. You are only as strong as your weakest link, and there was really no weak link on the white spoon chefs for the seafood challenge. It was done to perfection, and I loved it. This Hyun-suk literally said, this is our menu, this is what we are making. As soon as it started, somebody left a comment on my former video. Shout out to So Luna. The 2 judges are not fair in making their decisions. Other teams were cheating, the white team. And yet the judges ignored the cheaters. So I read that and I was like, what are they talking about? I don't remember them cheating. And I remembered that, okay, they probably watched up and caught up with all the episodes. And they're talking about what happened during the seafood challenge between the red team, the white team, and the black team. And what happened was that immediately they said, your time starts now. The white team went and snatched up all the clams, the mussels, and were they oysters? I can't remember. I think it was clams and mussels. And they snatched them up and they took them to their station. Could it be considered cheating? Yes. However, the black spoon team could have also done the same thing. I'm just saying, there wasn't even enough to feed the panel of judges. They had brought this 100 people. You know how Korea does these things. They did it in the influencer. They did it in another one that I can't remember right now. But they brought 100 people with masks, sitting with light panels behind them. I didn't even know that the light panels were going to feature in the show, but they did, people. And they would be judging. So they are making 100 servings to feed every single one of those people. The mussels and the clams were not going to be enough to feed 100 people. The mussels and the clams were put there for flavor. Now, it could be considered cheating 100%, but there were no rule sets in place. They did not say that they could not do that. They were smart enough to organize and grab what they needed for flavor and then build a menu around it. Now, not triple star, Chef Spark saw that they were grabbing everything and he totally spiraled. Because honestly, I didn't think that he was a good leader in the first place. But the spiraling was on another level entirely. He could not focus to even talk to his teammates and like figure something out. Like his teammates were like, you know what, it's fine. They've taken those, we'll build something around whatever else is there. Maniac was trying to get them to get something on the table, to figure out an idea. Hidden Genius was trying to get them to figure out an idea. Spark could not think straight to do anything. It was chaos for the black team. And as soon as I saw that their leader started to spiral, I knew that it was done for them. They tried. I'm not going to lie, they tried. But another thing is they had Edward Lee, they had that lady who has won how many hundreds of cooking shows, like competition is her life. They had a skilled knife master who did their fish to perfection. They have the number one celebrity chef who just knows what like they had their team. The White Spoon chefs were stacked. They were stacked. It was done for the black. They give them a run for their money. But it boiled down to risotto and how cooked the rice was. Apparently, they felt like the judges felt like the generation who was judging would probably not understand that risotto can be al dente, I guess. I've never had risotto, guys. I've watched 1,000 cooking shows, never had risotto. But if there's one thing that I know from watching 1,000 cooking shows is that risotto always takes people out every single time. But it's so weird because Matfia chef who cooked the risotto, he had come through on risotto. That's how he beat the White Spoon chef that he went up against. It was risotto. That's how it wasn't that how he okay, no, it wasn't risotto, but that's how he got chosen to be the one of the 20 that came through. It was just not their day. Our White Spoon chefs won it for the seafood challenge, and it just was what it was. For the meat challenge, yet again, you are only as strong as your weakest link, and unfortunately, their weakest link was their leader. And in this case, it was the white team. I don't even understand why they chose the woman in the first place. So in this one, on this team, they had the queen of Chinese cuisine, and I don't know why she wasn't chosen as the leader. They also had the guy from MasterChef who'd won MasterChef. He was great. I think that he had really good ideas, but their leader was not leading. When the leader is not leading, chaos ensues. So they were arguing as soon as they said go. They started arguing. They couldn't get their shit together. They kept switching up their menu. In the end, they switched up to something nice, but somehow the black team executed better. The black team's team leader was Triple Star. We know he's very technical, very detailed. He has a system, and they decided on a menu and they executed it flawlessly. And when they said they won, I was so glad because the Black Spoon chef had self-made chef, they had the comic book chef, they just had a lot of good people on that team, and I really was excited that they were put through and they won against the white Spoon chef. They disintegrated, man. It was something to behold, if I'm being honest. It was chaotic, and all we kept shouting at the TV was, lead your people, you're not leading. It wasn't a good day for the meat group of white Spoon chefs. So some of my favorite people did make it through. I think by the end of the by the end of the challenges, the 11, because I did think it was it 11? Yeah, it was the Black Spoon chefs on this side who were 5 and the White Spoon chefs on this side. they were either 11 or 10. I can't really remember. They get this consolation match. I didn't. We don't get to see it. We'll see it in the next episode. But they always have those in this show. They always have a consolation match where you have the opportunity to, get back into the game. It was hard for the White Spoon Chefs. Honestly, they didn't take it well. Excuse me, if I'm being honest, they did not take it well at all. But you know what? They caused it for themselves. They didn't have a cohesive idea and they didn't come together properly. It's just what it was. I'm excited to see who goes through because the goddess was yet again eliminated on the seafood side of the Black Spoon Chef. So hopefully she can come back. We'll see what that brings. But loved it. I absolutely loved it. I love this show. It's so good. It's so good. I can't even guess who is going to win, but I have a feeling that a Black Spoon Chef is going to emerge the winner of this entire thing. I have a feeling. I have my choices, but I'm gonna wait to actually give you a prediction. I'm not gonna do another recap after this. The next recap will be like a quick recap and the reactions because I don't want to do multiple episodes on this. I love the show. You guys are loving it. You know what's going on. So my recap will come after October 8th, which is when the final episode is coming. So in about 2 weeks, we'll have the reactions and the reviews for the rest of them. But yeah, as far as I can remember, that's most of what I can remember. If anything else comes to my mind, honestly, I'll recap it in the next reaction video. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the new recap. Be sure to do all the right things like follow, subscribe, hit that notification bell. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.